moment ago, I asked you to imagine what it would be like if God met with you and your church on the rooftop, as he did Peter in Acts chapter 10. And then I asked you this question: what impact would that have on your life, the life of your church, and the life of your city? This is usually a lively time of discussion as you begin to imagine what would happen if you had an encounter with God just like Peter did. I want to encourage you. Do not let Satan steal that hope and that dream that God has impressed upon you. Because, friend, what God impressed upon you, he is more than able to do. In Ephesians 3:20, we read, God is able to do exceedingly abundantly more than anything we could ask or even imagine. And I would add, not only is he able, he is also willing. Well, as you prepare for the rooftop encounter, I want to encourage you to do the following things. All of these are written down in your journal in the do section. But let me just take a moment to go over them with you. First of all, I want you to pray into what God impressed on your heart as you began to imagine what it would be like if God met with you and your church as he did Simon Peter. And ask God to begin revealing to you at this very moment any attitudes in your heart that would keep you from fully joining him in what he is doing in your city. And ask God also to meet with you that very day, the same way that he met with Simon Peter. The second thing I would ask you to do is to read Acts 10:1 through 11:18 through several times before the rooftop encounter. And as you read it, place yourself in the story. Imagine yourself being Cornelius or Peter or the Jewish believers who went with Peter or the Gentiles who were hearing the gospel for the first time. I also encourage you to read it in different translations to enrich your understanding of this life-changing story. And then I want you to read some passages of Scripture that describe God's passion, God's heart for those who are spiritually lost and far from him. Those passages are in the journal. But here they are one more time so you can read them. Matthew 9:35 through 38, John 3:16 and 17, 1 Timothy 2:1 through 4, and 2 Peter 3:9. And as you read them, ask God to show you his heart and to begin to give you his heart, his passion for the lost. And don't just read them, meditate on them. Think about them. And really begin spending time letting these scriptures prime your heart for what God is about to do in your life on the rooftop. And then the fourth thing would be simply this: spend time each day with God, and as you do, pray for this encounter. Pray for God to prepare your heart and the hearts of all of those who will be with you that day on the rooftop. And begin praising him in advance for all that he will do that day in your life. And then last but not least, anticipate God. Expect him to speak to you. Expect him to move in your life and in the life of your church and even in the life of your city. Expect God to do a fresh work in your life that day. As I said in an earlier session, one of the reasons we never encounter God is because we don't expect him to speak to us. We are excited for all of you as you prepare for your rooftop encounter. And we're asking God that he would do in your life exactly what he did in Peter's life on that rooftop in Joppa 2,000 years ago.